This is Bryan Mehring. I'm one of the national trainers here at Mortgage Coach, and I have the pleasure of working with you in today's training session. Today is the Thursday Q&A session, and let's do a little bit of housekeeping here before we get too far along into the presentation. Let me go ahead and move over. Here's an example of your GoToWebinar control panel, and it should look very, very similar to this. And just so that I know that I'm coming through loud and clear, if you could type in how many years that you've been originating loans in the question area, go ahead and type it in here, then hit the send button here, and then that way I'll know that I'm coming through loud and clear, that you can see my screen, and that you can hear me. Perfect. I'm getting some feedback in there already. Excellent. Wow. Okay. We got looks like we've got opposite ends of the spectrum there. We've got some new originators, new to the business, and then we have some people that have got a lot of experience in there. Great. Well, welcome to everybody, and I want to make sure that we're covering all our bases here and providing content that could be valuable for everybody. If you've been originating for less than a year, or if you've been originating for many years. So with that, Thursday's Q&A session is typically an open forum, meaning that you could bring any questions that you may have to the Q&A, and we'll be happy to cover those for you. So at this time, I'd like to give everybody an opportunity to go ahead and type in any questions that they may like to have additional information about. And if that's not the case, we can, of course, go ahead and I'll bring some content, I'll bring some choices over for you that would be of interest to you. So, but I always want to give you folks the first choice. If there's a question that you've had in the back of your mind that you'd really like more information about how to accomplish something, now would be the time to go ahead and ask. So I'm going to pause here for a second, let you think about it, and then, of course, use the question area in your GoToWebinar control panel, type those in, and that'll be what we start off the training session with. All right, perfect. Well, we do have a suggestion in here. And then as I'm going through this, I don't want to leave anybody out. So if you do have some questions that you would like to ask to, do not hesitate to fire away. But the first question that we can go ahead and cover is marketing presentation. So let me go ahead and open up my Mortgage Coach Edge Wizard. And yes, definitely, we'll be able to go over marketing presentation. So to go ahead and access my account. So when you go to build a presentation for a client, one of the options that you have when you click on new client up here is that you can either make it a individual presentation, and you can see the dial button here, or you could go ahead and make it a marketing presentation. Now, why would you want to use one versus the other? If it's in the individual position, of course, you're building the presentation for a specific individual. A marketing presentation, you're going to be building it for nobody in particular, and as a general presentation that you could potentially use with, say, realtors, new home buyers. Those are probably the top two examples of what originators are using marketing presentations for. in building a presentation. It's not specific to an individual. It's something that you could build that would apply to a lot of people, and using it when they're, meeting with realtors, showing them the mortgage coach presentation, doing a lunch and learn, new home buyer seminar. And let me go ahead and pull up an example of some marketing presentations that I have in my database here. So let me go ahead and hit the view all button. I'm going to go ahead and hit search, and I would suggest that you probably have several of these type of marketing presentations that are already pre-built, so that when you do have the opportunity to maybe have an impromptu meeting with a realtor or a group of realtors, you already have them pre-built, and they're just sitting there for you to go ahead and quickly jump into. So I'm going to go ahead and slide down here. Let's see. There's my folder that's labeled marketing presentations. Go ahead and open it up. Okay. Looks like I have a rent versus own in there, but I also have, this is another basic marketing presentation folder here that I've labeled master templates. I'm going to open that up, and you can see that there's quite a few more here. So I would suggest that you have some of these pre-built. The top couple ones that come to mind would be, I would definitely have, say, a move-up buyer presentation within my marketing presentations. That particular strategy helps you show realtors and people that maybe have been delaying making that dream home purchase because they just don't know where they stand equity-wise. And you could show them that by moving up, taking the money that they have, the equity that they have in their existing home, and using that to purchase a new home, their payment may not even change that much from what they're currently making now. So it's a great presentation to have. I would also recommend having a cost of waiting presentation. Looks like I need to put one of those in there. And you can see some other general ones that I have here available, so that if I encounter a situation where I need to have these apply, I can quickly go ahead and access them. And I create a folder. In this particular case, I have one that's specifically labeled marketing presentations. This one I have labeled master templates. And let me show you a real quick tip here as well, is that once you have a presentation built, like say for example this one, I've encountered somebody, I've got this general presentation already pre-built, and I'm speaking with somebody, and in the back of my mind I'm going, man, this is the exact person that I've been waiting to talk to go ahead and be able to share with them this particular strategy. So you've already got it pre-built as a marketing presentation. All you'd have to do is click on it, and then if you look over here, you can see the copy analysis. So then I could take that same presentation that I already have pre-built, copy the analysis, and I'm not going to copy it to the current person, but I'm going to copy it and create a new client, because this is the person that I'm speaking to now, and I'm thinking that this is a perfect strategy to share with them. I'm going to click on new client, click OK, and now all that data that was in that previous presentation is going to be available for me to go ahead and put into the new one. And I got to see if I've got something. Yeah, I do. Okay, yeah, there's some data in there. So all the present information that was in the previous presentation is now available for me to go ahead and create for the new client. Then what I'm going to have to do is just do a little bit of editing. I'll just type in new client here. All I have to do is a little bit of editing. So, for example, this is a move-up property. So then I could just go ahead and I could put in, the details about their existing home in here after I've interviewed them. Just do a little bit of editing, and then I can go right to the product area and change these numbers. The benefit to you is that you do not have to recreate an entire new presentation. All you would do is do the copy analysis and then be able to apply it to a new client. For those of you that are doing a high volume of the same type of loan over and over and over and over again, maybe you have a marketing platform in place that is specifically trying to reach a particular clientele base, like maybe new home buyers. It'd be very helpful for you if you had a master template or a marketing presentation already pre-built, so that all you would have to do is go access it. Say I do a lot of conventional versus FHA for first-time home buyers. I could click on that, simply hit the copy analysis button again. I'm talking to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, click OK. Now, all I have to do is type in, John Smith. And everything that was in that previous presentation is now available. And all I have to do is a little bit of editing. So I'll come in here, change the purchase price to whatever it is. Maybe they're buying a $300,000 home rather than the previous client that I was working with that was buying a $400,000 home. If I need to adjust the potential tax bracket, I could do that. And then I could quickly go over to the products that I already have built. Just change the purchase price to $300,000. Keep my down payment amount the same. If I need to make any adjustments on the rate, go into closing costs, edit those if I need to in any way. But if you're doing a high volume of these, it's going to make it so much easier for you and so much more quick or fast to be able to build a presentation that you've already got it pre-built, it's teed up, it's ready to go. Why not just copy it and do a little bit of editing rather than recreating the whole presentation over and over again if you're doing a high volume of a particular type of presentation. I'm gonna pause here for a second and see if there's any questions about that particular way that you can manage your mortgage coach database more effectively. Just gonna take a second here because I don't want to go too quickly from topic to topic and not make sure that everybody has an understanding of how they could utilize that particular information. So I'm going to pause here for a second. If there's any follow-up questions to that, please go ahead and type those in. Okay, and as a follow-up to that, if you've built a presentation, if you're in the process of building it, and you're thinking in the back of your mind like, you know what, this would probably be a presentation that I would want to store as a marketing presentation. If you take a look, there is, when you get to your last product, oops, sorry, let me go one more over here. When you get to the very last product that you've built, and you go into the analysis area here, you'll notice that there is a copy analysis button right here. So you built this presentation and you're going, wow, this is probably the third time that I built this presentation this week. I wish there was a way that I could just go ahead and have this available and just do a little bit of editing. Or if you're building the presentation, you're going, God, I could think of 3 other people that this would apply to. You can hit the copy analysis button here. And then again, you could save it to the current client or go ahead and take that presentation and click on New Client. And then there you go. All you would do is hit that. It takes all the data that was available in that presentation. It puts it into this new presentation. All you're doing is changing the details about the client that you're working with, their name, making the presentation specific to the dollar amounts that they're working with, their price point, and then going into the product area and just doing a little bit of editing rather than recreating the whole presentation over and over and over again. So in the client area again, individual versus marketing, thank you for that question. That was a very good question, and it gave me the opportunity to share with quite a few folks how to manage your database a little bit more effectively, so that you're not doing a lot of work that maybe you don't necessarily have to do in order to build your presentations more effectively. Okay, I got another question that came in. Are all of these training sessions available on the YouTube channel? Okay, good question. Many of you may or may not know this, but we actually have a YouTube channel. And if you go to our website, the quickest way to access it, if you scroll all the way down here to the bottom, you click on this icon here, second to the right, that'll direct you to our YouTube channel. And with YouTube channels, if you're not familiar with them, you can actually subscribe to them so that you can have access to the information that is available there. If there's any updates or anything like that, you'll get notifications sent to you. So this is our YouTube channel, and there's a lot of calls there. Now the Thursday training calls are not something that we typically record and put there, but there are a lot of additional calls. Like we have a playlist. If you click on the playlist here, all the Mortgage Coach University calls for the month of April are going to be here for you. You can see currently there's about 19 of them in there. So if you happen to miss a particular day and you want information on that particular topic, great way for you to, be able to watch a YouTube presentation and learn how to do something, so that, I love having you in these webinars, but I realize that you folks are busy and you're not always going to be able to attend a webinar at a particular point in time, and this is a way that you could still learn how to use Mortgage Coach and a timeline that's convenient to you. Later in the evening when things have calmed down and you can go ahead and focus on these. Great way for you to learn. And then also the big point about the YouTube channel is that there are a lot of calls in there that these people are opening up their playbook basically as to how they use Mortgage Coach, and they're also sharing ideas within the Mortgage Coach community. And you don't have to be the person that's reinventing the wheel. You can listen to these calls, get valuable content, and learn from these without having to spend a lot of time. So it's a way that you can accelerate your learning curve without having to reinvent everything and do everything by yourself. Manage your resources. So I'm going to pause here for a second and give you folks, again, any follow-up questions to what we just discussed. Go ahead and fire away with any follow-up questions. And then I'm going to, if nobody's going to bring any questions to the training session, I'll go ahead and I'll put a poll out with some suggestions as to what we could potentially cover. And then I'd also like to review this particular call, because I think this particular call that our CEO Dave Savage recently did has got some valuable content for quite a lot of originators that are working with realtor partners. And if you do have a question, you have a question area in the GoToWebinar control panel. That's the easiest way for me to respond. Let me see if I could find that and point that out. So I see we have some people with their hands up, and I don't know if it's you have a question or you're not quite sure. So right here is where you would type in your question, then hit the send button, and then that way I'll know if there's a particular topic that you're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and lower everybody's hands at this point, and then you could go ahead and type those questions in. So I'll pause here for a second, give you an opportunity to ask. And again, it's an open forum, folks. The more that you participate, the more that questions that you ask, the more you're going to get out of it. So you always want to approach these Thursday training sessions. It's an open forum. If you've encountered a scenario during your work week that you would like to use Mortgage Coach with, but maybe not know how, that's your opportunity to bring it to these Thursday Q&A sessions. So I'm going to pause here for a second, give you folks a chance to type in anything that you'd like to cover. And then, like I said, I'm gonna go over a poll, throw some suggestions out there, see who gets which of those topics gets the highest response, and then I also want to share that one call as well. So type away with those questions. I'll just pause for a couple seconds. Okay, so we just got one in there, a question about Rate Watch, and if there is a YouTube for Rate Watch. Let's take a look and see. That's a good question. And then if not, I mean, I will be happy to cover that. If there's a particular question that you have in regards to Rate Watch, be happy to answer that for you. But let's take a look at the YouTube channel and see what pops up. So I'm just going to do a search once I get to the site by clicking on the little magnifying glass there, Rate Watch. And it looks like there is one there. So there's one here, and it looks like it was actually covered, by the way, in a Thursday call, because it's referencing Thursday. How to install and configure Rate Watch. There was a Rate Watch covered in the Q&A on a Thursday. Yeah, so there was. It was about 4 months ago. I'll even make it easier. I'm going to go ahead and access this. And I'm just going to take the link that was here. Download it. And that was my voice. So I actually did that call 4 months ago. I forgot about that. So I'll just take that and I'm going to drop it in the chat area. So you can go ahead and grab that out of the chat area, and that could potentially help you with any questions you have about Rate Watch. Since we're on the topic too about questions, you know, I want to make sure that you folks know the resources that you have, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask that poll question. I'm going to cover that call here real quick, but I think it's very important for you folks to know the resources that you have available for you in getting answers to the questions that you may have about Mortgage Coach and how to use it. So, of course, if you go to our website, mortgagecoach.com, and you click on Connect, here's our calendar section. This is where you can sign up for as many webinars as you want. So you're probably, I'm thinking, aware of how you could sign up for the webinars. And when you're in your Mortgage Coach Edge tool and you're building a presentation and you get stuck, I want to make sure that you understand that there is a help area here. If you click on that help area, you could type in any particular topic here and get, you know, FAQs and also YouTube's videos of how to do that particular thing. So if you're wondering more about, say, mobile, you know, how to use your mobile device, type that in, and you can see all the different things that pop up as to how you could utilize mobile with Mortgage Coach. But another resource that, you know, frankly, I'm really surprised a lot of people aren't using is that we have a support staff that is available for you to answer questions and help you with your specific presentations. And you reach them by sending an email to support@mortgagecoach.com. Let me get the spelling correct for you. And they're available Monday through Friday. And it's from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. So keep that in mind. Sometimes I'll talk to people when I'm doing on-site training, and they'll tell me that, you know, they got stuck building a presentation and they spent, you know, like a half an hour trying to do it. I mean, that's a large investment of your time that you could be doing something else with. Reach out to our support staff Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. And their goal is to get back to you within a half an hour or less and assist you with, you know, getting you up and running and and on your way with that particular presentation. So don't invest a lot of your time. Use the resources that you have to, you know, get you up and running on your way. Your time is very valuable to you. You want to use it as efficiently as possible. Okay, good. So that answered the question about Rate Watch. And then let's see here. We got another question here. Okay, so we have an originator in the training session today that's using video, and they need to know how to send it to clients so I know when they go in and view it, and alerted when to see the presentation, and how to send a link or other format I should do is, okay. All right, so basically the question is in regards to that you've actually did the video. You just want to make sure that you know, it's being viewed by the client and how you get that alert. So I'm kind of curious here. How many of you in the training session today, and again, here's your GoToWebinar control panel. Here's the little hand over here. How many of you have delivered a presentation to a client, a realtor partner, and have received the alert back to you? Raise your hand if you've sent it and you've gotten the alert. Wow, I'm actually surprised here. I would probably say it's about 20%. Okay, so this is a great topic then, because if you're building these presentations, and it's kind of I guess you could say a two-part question, because you have to know the mechanics of how to send the presentation to your clients, the nuts and bolts of how to send it to your client, and then also how to get the alert. But there's also some strategies as to how to get more people to actually click on it as well, because that's the big thing, is that it's great that you built the presentation, but you got to get the borrower to view the presentation. So there's a strategy behind that as well too. So it's almost a two-part question. So let's first off cover the nuts and bolts of how to send a presentation, and then how to make sure that you're getting that alert. And let's do this too. Let's make this an exercise. So for those of you that have two monitors, or even if you can manage this, what I'd like everybody to do is go ahead and make sure that you're in your Mortgage Coach account. So let me go ahead and sign out here real fast. What I'd like everybody to do is sign out. I'm going to sign out here, but what I want everybody to do is access your Mortgage Coach account. So you're going to go to edge.mortgagecoach.com, go to your account, and if you have not yet built a presentation, you can go ahead and use one of the sample presentations that are most likely already there for you. And then I want you to go ahead and click on it, and then go all the way. Now this is going to be a sample presentation or a presentation that you may have already built. So I want you to go ahead and go all the way to the very last tab over here in the bottom right hand corner where it says presentation. Click on preview, and this is how you're going to send the presentation, and we're going to make this an exercise. What I want you to actually do is I want you to send me the link to that sample presentation, or a presentation that you might have built for a borrower. And I'm going to click on it just so that you can see how the alert function works. So to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that, and this again, this is any presentation that you've got in your database, any of these presentations that you want to send me. If you want to send me one that you've already, like a sample presentation that we've already pre-built in there, go right ahead. Those sample presentations, by the way, they'll have some goofy names like Jenny No Points, Joe Renter, something like that. I'm trying to find one in here that I've got. I've just got a lot of borrower presentations in there. But just go ahead and click on it. Go to the very last tab over here, and this is an exercise. There's quite a few of you in the training session. I need to get at least 50% of you to send this presentation over, a presentation over. So presentation, you get to this particular page, make sure that you put, it's in the dial button here, so you're going to email it to me, but you've got to make sure that you put a check mark in this box here. This is the whole key as to how you get a notification that your presentation was just viewed by your borrower. That's the key right there. You might want to protect yourself with a quote date. I'm just going to put in today. Click on Generate Link. You're going to take that link when it generates, copy it by highlighting it, and then I want you to send it to me. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my email right now. And I'm going to see who can send it to me the quickest. All you have to do is take that link, okay. I'm going to go ahead and new email, boom. Okay, put it here, paste, so there's the link, and I want you to send it to Bryan@mortgagecoach.com. But before you send it, please make sure that you do have a check mark in this box. So the person that asked that question, I definitely want to see a presentation from you. Send it to me so that you can confirm that that it's working for you. And then I would like to get as many other people as possible to send me a link via email. See who can get it to me the fastest. That way you know that this particular feature works, and you can see how it works as well. And let's see here, we have a question up here. Again, the email address, it's Bryan@mortgagecoach.com. That's the email address, in case you missed it. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to do that. So the process again, generate link, take that link, copy it, and then go to your email, drop it in there, boom. Okay, we've got some in there, perfect. Okay, let me go to this one. I'm going to click on it. Now, as the borrower, what they would do is they're going to go ahead and they click on the link here. This is the borrower's view of it. They're going to click on I understand up here. When they click on I understand, the next thing that should pop up, if you included a video, you may not have included a video with this particular one, the video would appear here. But here's the presentation. And now when I click off of it as the borrower, when I leave the presentation here, that's when you're going to get your alert. Nice headshot there, Rebecca. Good job. Bill, I didn't see that headshot in there. I don't know if you know how to do that or not. When they click on I understand, boom, I'm going to click off of yours. You should get an alert. James, I'm going to do this real quick. Look at your presentation. James, it looks like you do not have a headshot up here either, too. So that's something that I may want to cover as well. Ah, you got a video. Hey, James.
It's Mitchell.
Good to see you. I like the video. Nice. I'm glad that you're using it. Good job, buddy. Go ahead and click off that. So when I do that, each and every one of you should have gotten an alert. So what I'd like to do now is just confirm. Those of you, thank you for participating. Go ahead and raise your hand and confirm if you did, in fact, get an alert sent to you. Especially Bill, you had that question. So did you get an alert sent to you? James, you got yours? Excellent. Good job. So it might take a little bit. Now I noticed on a couple of those presentations, there was no headshot for you. So what you're going to want to do, for those of you that do not have a headshot in your Mortgage Coach account, when you log in over here, go to the settings area, and you can see these different tabs up here at the top. What I would first do is make sure all this information is accurate. Then I would go to the images tab here, and this is where you would upload a headshot of yourself. So that's where you want to make sure that that you add that headshot, because if you stop and think, that is your branding. That is you. That's your personal branding, and you want to make sure that that appears on your presentation, so that way your borrower recognizes you. Good, Bill, you got it. Excellent. So now you know how to do that. Great question. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lower everybody's hands. Okay, perfect. Any follow-up questions to what we just covered so far? So we know how to send out a presentation now. You know what happens when the borrower views it. And you can see the alert that was sent to you. It shows the date and the time that the presentation was viewed. Let me just go into my mail real quick, see if I got any alerts. I don't have any alerts that I could show you right now, unfortunately. Okay. But you'll get an alert that tells you the date and the time and how long it was viewed. Okay, and here's a follow-up question. Somebody did not get that alert. So remember what you have to do. The first thing that you're going to want to do is double check and make sure that you did in fact have a check mark in this box. Because if you didn't have the check mark, you won't get the alert. And then the second thing that you may want to do, and you might want to confirm this with your IT department, is there some type of a spam blocker? Because you don't want that spam blocker, because you could be sending out presentations and you could be getting these alerts and you don't even know that you're getting these alerts. So that would be a real, a real bummer, I guess you could say, is that you got that spam blocker and you're not even aware that you're getting these alerts and people are viewing your presentations. As a potential workaround to that, what you could do is make sure that you have the Rate Watch application downloaded to your mobile device. Let me go ahead and pull up my phone here real quick. So as a workaround to that, if you have the Rate Watch application downloaded to your mobile, let me go to a blank screen here. Get that a little bit bigger. Go home. So here's the Rate Watch application. When you download it to your mobile device, it looks like the green square with the white binoculars in there. If you click on that, and here's the home screen. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see the settings area all the way down here. If you click on that, you can go ahead and set yourself up so that you get alerts sent to you to your mobile device. So that's a workaround so that you'll be able to get the actual alerts sent to your mobile device. And the benefit to you is that you're not always going to be in the office when these alerts start popping up. And you might be 6, 7 o'clock at night, you've left the office and you're going to dinner, you're doing some grocery shopping, you're going to the gym, and if you have the Rate Watch application downloaded to your mobile, you can get an alert sent to you either via text or email that the presentation was just viewed. So that could potentially give you an edge, because not everybody's going to be available during the time that you're in the office to be able to have a conversation about their mortgage transaction. People have lives. They work from 9 to 5, 9 to 6 while you're working, and it's not maybe until 7, 8 o'clock at night after they've eaten dinner and they're sitting down that they're actually going to have a chance to review your presentation. So just keep that in mind, that it gives you an advantage if you have the app downloaded to your mobile device. And then just a couple more things about getting those alerts sent to you. when you get an alert sent to you and you see that somebody has viewed the presentation for, I would say north of 8 minutes, that would be a quality view is what I would classify it. It's a quality view because that's enough time for somebody to view your presentation and digest all the data that's available within your presentation. Because I mean, if you look at it, there's a lot of information on your presentation. So it'll give them enough time to view it, to digest the information, and then maybe have some questions about it. So that would be a good time for you to follow up. What you may see when you're getting those alerts sent to you is people will click on them and then click off them real quickly. So it'd be a quick on and off click. I don't know if I would necessarily reach out to them unless you see them doing it quite frequently. So they may be having some issues with being able to pull up the presentation for some reason or another. So those would be a couple of the scenarios so that you can keep that in mind. And then if you get that client that is repeatedly, I mean, you're getting an alert every hour and it's becoming a nuisance, remove the check mark and then you'll no longer get those alerts sent to you. So if you've got a crazy borrower that's click happy and you just need a break from it, remove the check mark and it'll stop the process. Okay, got a follow-up question to it. How do you send the video, not just the presentation, and how do you make it interactive for them? Okay, that is a two-part question there as well. So whenever you send your presentation to your clients, the video is always attached to that particular one. So they're going to view the presentation. Let me see if this one has a video to it, just so you could see here. I don't know if I added a video to this presentation. I'm just going to click on it real quick and drop it in here. So your borrower is going to click on I understand, and then the next thing that would pop up would be the video. I did not add a video to this one. But the video is always going to be attached to the presentation. So the two are together. So you're not going to have like a separate video and then a separate presentation. And how do you make it interactive with them? That is actually what we call Edge Live. And we can have a little bit of fun with this. In fact, let's do that. Let's have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to take this presentation and I'm going to take this link and I'm going to drop it into the chat box. So that link is just dropped into the chat box. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and open up that link on your computer. So just like you were my borrower. So you're going to take that link that is now in the chat box. I'll go ahead and I'll pull it up here again so that you can see it. This is the particular link to this presentation. Go ahead and take it and put it in a separate window just like I did over here, or just click on it and it should open up the presentation on your screen. What I'm going to do now is I am going to interact like the question was. How do you interact with the borrower while you got them on the telephone? So what you're going to do is you get them on the phone, you have them click on the link, you confirm to them that they have the link open, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come over and you're going to click on Edge Live right here. You can see the button. Click on Edge Live. It's going to open up a preview. The chat box is on your GoToWebinar control panel. So I'm sorry if I did not make that clear. The chat box is on your GoToWebinar control panel, and I did put that link in there for you. So you should be able to grab that link out of the chat box. I'll pull up the link here again as well. So at the moment, I could see that there was somebody that was successfully able, actually two people in the webinar today that were successfully able to take that link and put it and open it up. If you look down here, see where it says 2 viewers on the bottom of the screen? So when you're getting ready to deliver a presentation and use Edge Live, you can actually see the number of people that have that presentation open, and there's 2 viewers right now. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to, let's see if we can get some more viewers, because that's a real small number. Let's see if we can get more people to do that. So again, in your GoToWebinar control panel, there is the that link, and I want you to take that link, grab it out of the chat box. If you can't click on it, just copy it, open up a new browser, take it, paste it in there, and then just hit return. It'll do all the work for you. Then click on I understand, and then we could go ahead and do the live reporting, or the Edge Live. Let me click off of it here. Let me close some of these out. Okay, so got all these closed out. Again, I'm going to click on Generate Link. I'm going to click on Edge Live, and let's see how many people are on it now. 3, okay? We got one more person to do it. Okay, so when you're, one more person was able to do it. Oh, there goes 4, 2 more. Okay, good. And you can see the numbers starting to increase as we go along. So you're slowly being able to do it. Okay. All right, so for those of you that were able to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the presentation as if you were my borrower. So, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, it's an exciting time. You're going to be able to make that purchase, that home purchase, and we have a couple options here available for you. I want to go ahead and share with you this first option. This first option is a conventional 5% down payment loan. Now, I just clicked on that particular product name, and it highlighted the entire product. For those of you that were able to take that link and do that exercise that I shared with you, whatever I'm doing on my screen will drive and make it happen on your screen as well. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, I'll walk you through the details of this particular option. So the home that you're looking at, the purchase price is $300,000. And the current market, we could produce a rate of, say, 4% for you. That would mean your total monthly payment would be $1,531.63. Now, the cash to close that you would need to have to bring in to complete the transaction would be approximately a little over $18,000. So, again, as I am speaking with the client, as I'm highlighting these areas, it's appearing on their screen as well. And we have a few more moments. I'll actually take and split the screen so you can see the effect, because again, I know there's quite a few of you in the training session, and it looks like only about 4 of you were able to do this, so I want to give everybody a chance to get the full effect there. So I'm going to shrink this over. I'll take the link and drop it in. Okay, so here I am over here on the left as the mortgage professional, and then here's the borrower over here on the right. So as I click on this as the originator, look what happens on the borrower screen over here. This should update and highlight. There's a little bit of a delay here in the connection, but as I'm walking it through and interacting with them and highlighting on these areas, you can see that the details are highlighting as well. So the connection's there. If I want to make the graphs bounce as I'm speaking with them, all I have to do is click on them and you can see the effect. So what I'm doing on this screen as the originator is happening over here on the borrower screen. And now you can see, because I accessed it, down here in the bottom, it's now at 5 people that were able to do that. So it's a great way when you've got your client on the phone to be able to answer those questions that they may have and get complete clarity with them. There's no gaps in communication. The other thing that you can recognize is that there may be multiple people involved in the decision-making process of, which type of product they want to use to make this very important financial decision. And these people might be in different areas of the country. You might have, say, a wife in California and a husband on a business trip in New York, or a husband, whatever the different scenarios are. Our family, a father-in-law in Oklahoma that's going to be helping with the down payment, and they're on the call as well. Well, you'll look down here and you'll see, as the originator, you'll see, first off, I could clear all the highlights. This is the borrower's view. You can see that they don't have those features. I can see that there's 5 people viewing, and I could walk them all on a conference call through the presentation, get complete clarity with them as to which product that they want to move forward on. And for those originators that are using this particular feature, it really helps with the conversion factor, because you've got all these decision makers engaged in viewing the presentation, asking questions, you're overcoming their objections, gives you the opportunity to ask for the close while you've got them all on the phone, rather than getting that the standard answers. Well, I've got to talk it over with this person and see what they think, and I'll get back to you. Well, you know what? Everybody's on the call that's a decision maker, right? Well, let's go ahead and get this taken care of so we can answer any questions and go ahead and get this transaction completed for you. So again, as I'm going through it, if they have a question about the closing costs, borrowers never have questions about closing costs, right? Well, as I'm driving it to that particular area, it's driving it on their presentation as well. So as I'm clicking on these things, those of you that were able to follow this along, you're getting the same effect as what you're seeing over here. I click off of it, payment breakdown, I could highlight. Again, it's a great tool to utilize, but I'm going to tell you this, it does take practice. I would highly encourage you folks to practice this with a family member, friend, coworker before you go ahead and dive in and do it with a borrower, because you want to be very smooth with it. You want to know how to pace yourself. You want to make sure that, like I highlight here, and there's a little bit of a pause. You can see that there's a little bit of a delay because it's going through the Wi-Fi, and you have to stop and think that, how are they connected to the internet? So you have to pace yourself. You'll highlight something, and you'll say, okay, do you see that number highlighted now? You'll get confirmation that, in fact, it is done. So it's a very powerful tool, definitely help you with your conversion, but I would encourage you to practice it before you go ahead and share it with a borrower. All right, wow, we went in a lot of different directions today during the Q&A, and that's exactly what I like. I mean, we covered a lot of information, and I hope it was very valuable to you. I'll pause here for a second, see if we have any additional questions here before we wrap it up. But every Q&A session, Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, you're welcome to bring your questions too, and we'll go through them just like what we did today. So I'll pause here. Any last minute questions? And by the way, I should have gotten some alerts. Let me just check my email real quick. Should have gotten some alerts while you folks were clicking on and off of them. And And let's see here. I don't know if it refreshed. It might have been stagnant. Okay. But if you folks click off of that presentation, you probably are going to, I'll get some alerts here in just a second. And let me just make sure that everybody understands. In the webinar, go to webinar control panel, get rid of these, pull that up. I still had some questions about the chat area. I just want to make sure that it's there for you. So I apologize. Let me just stop here real quick. So here's an example. Okay. Don't know, I don't see it on this particular one, but this is the go to webinar control panel. This is where your chat box should be located, where you're able to pull that link out of. Okay. All right. So it looks like there are no additional questions. So thanks so much for joining me. Like I said, I hope you got value. I hope you sign up for the YouTube, subscribe to it. Hope you enjoy that presentation that I provide you with. Have a great afternoon and get out there and crush your competition. Use Mortgage Coach. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.